Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is well and having a brilliant start to the week. We are back, guys, and I do apologise. My mic has not come yet, so if there's a bit of background noise. Then next on Thursday for the breakdown that we do have, there will be a new mic in store. So apologies, I've dragged my feet on that one, guys. It's just been a case of getting the platform content together in an optimal way and recording the best of the content now that the new mic is coming, because there is a lot of, let's say, stuff to be done, but there's a lot already been done in complete solitary confinement to make sure there is no background noise and things are optimal for that, guys. But should we move on and have a look? I'm going to keep it very, very simple tonight, guys, and we can look at what is going on within the market and then also what is going on in the stock market, because I do realise that we did not look at it just the other day, also because I was rambling. But guys, what we can see is we are range bound just at the moment. We have been range bound since June as a whole. So you can see we've got sideways movement here. No real move within the market. It has been very, very boring, which is why it's going to be pretty damn small one tonight. But what we can see is we did break out this ascending wedge. We saw a big breakdown here, but we actually respected this trend line just here and actually found some support. Again, what you can see, we've had the first touch of support just there, the second touch, we've actually bounced off, showing some quite good, let's say, support just there. And again, it's just a case of wondering whether we're going to come back down and break through. Again, I do always mention that we do move in threes in terms of the way in which the price will test levels of support. We didn't quite lose this support just here. What I mean when I say losing and gaining support, guys, and resistance means that when you get through a level of support, what that will mean is basically as there is a demand or concentrated demand within that area for people wanting to hold the price up, so buyers, there has to be a certain level of clearance for that support then to turn into resistance. So what we can find is that actually we've not lost this support and it has become respected once again. And again, we are actually forming what looks like to be a small uptrend just here, forming higher lows. So again, guys, I would expect, my expectations for price for Bitcoin over the next 3 days is going to be actually moving up to test the 9400 region, should I say. Come up, if we do break through there, then coming back up and testing this prior weekly level. Again, if you don't understand the weekly levels that I've mentioned in the past from the top-down analysis of how to analyze the charts as a whole, then I do recommend you go on and go through the free course, because I do explain it in great detail there as to how I set my charts up and understand the market structure as a whole, guys. So not really much to do there. We are going in an uptrend just here. As you can see, I will draw this trend line in so we can see, because up on break, if we do break that, what we can see is that we have wicked absolutely perfectly just here. But we did not manage to lose this level of support, or in essence this trend line just here. And again, we was caught up by some buyers just below, again respecting this level of declining support just here. So again, guys, I do expect us to continue up. We could have what could be forming just there as almost another ascending wedge, which again would be a bearish signal, should I say. So what we're going to say is, again, the volume is decreasing within this. We've got the first touch, the second, well, I wouldn't call that just a wick up, a bit of manipulation kind of. We've got first touch, second touch, third touch, first touch, second touch, coming down for the third, and what we can see is we will be coiling within this ascending wedge just here, and I will expect us over probably the next few hours to actually break through this. So for the Thursday breakdown, we will come back and analyse where we are with regards to this. But again, guys, I would not trade just at the moment until we can see the whole picture with regards to whether we are going to break to the upside of this ascending wedge, or to and unconfirm this, or break and confirm it to the downside and come down and test for the fourth time or the third time, you could, depending on whether you're going to actually say that that week is going to be a test. Which again, if we do go ahead and break this level just around here, which will be the 9100 level, then I do expect us to come down and actually test the 9000 level, guys, which again is our target zone. We have wicked into there many times and not being able to get there, guys. We have been talking about this target zone for months, and we have been in this range bound for probably now the last 2 months, which is again is why it's so boring. It is, again, if you are scalping, if you are using derivatives, which again a lot of the people that are new in here will not be doing that. Again, it's about the education, about what you can see with regards to the price. Then hold off, get an idea, see what we're doing with regards to now. What we are doing now is going through a distribution phase as a whole within the market. Now there's two levels. There is accumulation, which means people are accumulating for an uptrend, or there is distribution, where people that have almost been the smart money within the market have actually gone ahead and started to distribute, which basically means they'll sell for their profits, which is what we can see right now. We are forming continuous lower lows, guys, again in the market. as we have been speaking about for weeks. But I don't want to go from the top down, because what we can see is just, again, what I've been saying. We have failed to make that high, and again, we have broken to the up of this this down descending support as a whole, and found some support, which is pretty crazy, really. But again, the last thing we can see is that we have not made a higher high. So my eyes are still firmly set on the downwards momentum, guys. Now let's move on to XRP as a whole. I don't want to spend too much time again with regards to Bitcoin and Ethereum XRP, because I know I have had a lot of questions about the stocks and where they are going, guys. So again, what we can see with regards to XRP is we can see that we are range bound. Just again, we are again within this range just here. And I had an upside target range just here, and what we can see is that we whipped into that optimally, guys. Again, how did I get that? According to prior historic data, we can see that this is a massive key psychological level. Again, markets are driven by emotion, guys. What we can see again is that people are fearful of breaking to the upside. This is a massive level for XRP. It always has been, and it's always been a massive level of accumulation. Now, I do think with regards to Bitcoin, if Bitcoin had a better scope for the upside, then I think that XRP would be going through an accumulation stage right now for higher highs. But I think right now, I think we are going to see the lower levels, and more than likely target just to the downside just here, which was a previous level of resistance, not come back down and test it just as support just yet. We can see I used a Fibonacci retracement just down here to pull out a pullback zone, and what happened, guys? It came straight back into the 618786 Fibonacci level. Again, if you do not understand the Fibonacci, then I will be progressing into that in the platform as a whole, guys. Okay, so again, I mentioned on the last market breakdown as a whole how I made that decision that we was going to get a pullback into this zone, and again, time has told, and we have got a pullback. So this is again how I do analysis and how I can predict what is going to happen, guys. It's not too hard. It's not very. It's just all about again, conditioning your mind to be able to spot out when things are going to pull back, when things are going to go up into target ranges. But what we can see just here is we've seen actually we got a target range hit, and then we got a pullback. Again, you are moving in motion, you are in flow with the market. When I look at the market, I do not look at what has happened, it is going to happen in the future with regards to my own psychological and emotional thing. It's about where is the wave, what wave are we within the market, how is the market flowing, and how can I become a one with this market to understand where we're going to pull back and where we are going to move to the upside, and almost get that resistance as a whole, guys. So my thoughts for XRP, we are going to probably wick within here for the third time into this upside target range just here, but I do think ultimately we are going to come back down and test this as a level of support, guys. So let's move on to Ethereum. Now, guys, again, it is pretty ugly at the moment, is this, but what can we see? We got a pullback zone, and we are sitting within this pullback zone, guys. It's almost like magic, and I knew what was going to happen. So what we can see, again, we haven't quite made it up to this level to test just up here. We got pulled back and almost sold down all the way down just there, guys, and we are within this pullback zone. So I would imagine just to range bound in here, and again come back and test this level for the one to the third time to almost either break out and come home and found some more support, or again come back down and find it as resistance for this declining level support just here, or guys bounce straight back off this. Again, if we do come up and pull back into here, then we have two trend lines to break through, which means it will be more than likely actually to bounce off that and come and move to the upside, which again, guys, what we've got to understand is when we're looking at the market is actually that the market doesn't always do what we expect it to do, right? It usually does something different and then does it what you expect it to do. So my targets are still well within what's going to happen here. We may just see it 2 or 3 days after as to what we have pulled into this liquidity or pullback zone as a whole. Okay, guys, so let's move on to stocks, see where we are with regards to stocks. I'm going to, again, we have seen a lot of the alternative coins shoot into the stratosphere over the past week or so. Again, let me just explain that before I do that, why this has happened, okay? So let me go into Bitcoin dominance. So what we can see, guys, again, I have had this wedge drawn for so long now. If anybody that doesn't understand what Bitcoin dominance is, Bitcoin has a massive sway over the market, right? It has, let's say, around, at the moment, 63% of the market in its name, right? So what that means is Bitcoin's market capitalization is 63% of the entire Bitcoin cryptocurrency space's market capitalization, and the remaining 37% is allocated amongst all the 7,400 altcoins or whatever there is. So you can understand the scale of how big Bitcoin is relative to all the other altcoins on the market. But again, guys, I have been mentioning for months, if we were to break out of this to the downside, therefore meaning that Bitcoin had a smaller market capitalization, then altcoins would go on a rally, because what happens when Bitcoin's money or liquidity goes out of Bitcoin and the dominance becomes less? It goes into the altcoin market, guys, which is exactly what's happened. And what has happened, guys, if we look at this just here, again, we've broken out of here, it has come back down. We've seen all the various different altcoins going to the moon, right? And again, we've had this drawn for months. We've had one touch, and we have found support just here, guys. This is playing out really optimally right now, okay? So we've been forecasting this for months, and here we are saying, and it's just looking at how it's played out. If we do happen to break this bottom line here, which I do not expect us to do because we only had one touch, two touch, I think we're going to come back up, probably regain some momentum with regards to Bitcoin, coinciding with what we've seen and my predictions for Bitcoin moving up to around the 9,400 region, which around, at the moment, it is around that 9,200. Before, I do expect a big decline in Bitcoin's price. And I do think we are going to coil in here for the next couple of months, to be honest, guys. I don't think we are going to see many altcoin rallies like what we're seeing with regards to the people and media saying we may be artificially propped up or built on hype, which is, again, what we do see with regards to new liquidity coming to the market. People are bored, people are at home, people want something to spend their money on. People, if they see it in the news, they will put money into things like Chainlink, things like Cosmos, things like, again, ZRX, VeChain. Again, we've seen VeChain go up 300-400% in the past, I don't know how long, but it was very, very quick, and you don't see that in any other market, guys. But I do think we are going to coil inside of here, guys. Now let's move on. I'm speaking very fast because I do not want it to go on as usual. Again, with BP, what can we see? We can see that BP is continuously being range bound. We have been analysing BP now for the past 3 months, and again, we almost look like we could be forming a head and shoulders formation right here, guys. A head and shoulders. Again, if I get my brush out just here, head, shoulders there, head, and again coming back down as head. If that is confirmed, then what we have is the neckline just here, and again we are coming back up to test that before then breaking down to the downside, which again would pull us into my buying zone, guys. We have been talking for months about where we are going to buy, and again I have just been telling everyone just to hold off, right, because we can see the effects. We've not seen the full effects of the long-term debt cycle, of the coronavirus, of various different other economic declines that we have seen. So what we need to see is we need to be patient, we need to be smart investors, and again, guys, it is a good price to buy, right? For the long term, I have no doubt things like BP can come up and actually go back up to the £5 level, should I say. But for now, guys, I think we should just look, just look with our eyes. What can we see? What we can see is the price is failing to make higher highs, therefore it will tell us that we are looking at making lower lows, right? Okay, so therefore that is where I am firmly sitting, is waiting for the break either to the upside, in which case I will sit back and wait for the full effects, or continuation down to the downside. What we look like we've got right here is, again, we've got the head and shoulders, which would be a bearish formation. Right, we're coming back up, retesting before we go right down into the sewers, guys. Okay, right, let's move on. Bitcoin, but BT. Right, what can we see? A very, very similar formation, guys. Head and shoulders, just again coming back up, testing that neckline. And if my calculations are right, and this does happen to be a head and shoulders, that would mean that we are due a 14% decline in BT's price. I'm trying to say Bitcoin, right? Which would take us absolutely optimally. Where would it take us? It would take us to around the 94 pence mark, which, guys, is getting closer to them buy orders. So, guys, what we can see is, again, very, very interesting how it is all playing out as a whole. Very enthusiastic, because I am actually quite interested as to how this is respecting what we've been saying, quite a lot of guys actually. But let's move on. Vodafone. So, guys, if you remember, I made this call a few months ago now, beautiful, and I always talk about it because I was really proud of it. It was live, it was nice. But again, what we can see is, I expect for the price from Vodafone, we've had 1, 2, 3 touches. I expect for us to actually be range bound for the next few days as a whole, coming in and ranging in between here before either breaking to the upside, therefore coming up and testing this previous level of resistance just here. Again, what we can see is resistance here, or, guys, moving to the downside, which again would be around this mark just here. Again, using that prior historic base that we can see just there. I keep saying again just tonight, but forget that. So I do expect that. Not entirely sure where we are going to go, but I am just going to play the bounce, guys. We have bounced straight off here, so I do expect we are going to come up to the top level of resistance, get rejected, and then move to the downside in accordance with the rest of the market. Now let's move on to Aviva, guys. Aviva, again, once again, range bound, but actually creating lower highs each and every time. You could call it a channel just to appear to the upside, but again, if we look at the grand scheme of things, we can see that it is not moving massively. What do I expect? I expect that we are going to come back up and test the £2.92 region before ultimately crumbling down to test for the second time, or well, yeah, we broke up just here. So it will be testing for the second time here, and then coming back range bound until we see a further move to the downside. Let's move on. JD. Okay, JD. It's almost like we knew exactly what was happening, guys. Again, it is very, very simple stuff as this, and I want people to understand how simple this actually is, because can see, guys, is this has been drawn for months, and the price is psychologically accepting what we have had drawn in this channel just here. So, guys, we have had, what did we mark out the last market breakdown? We marked out here, and we've broken, come down here. So we've had 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't expect that this will be continued, this trend. Let's put it in, and we'll go coming up, and let's look at what's going to happen just here, and let's almost mark out its next moves. So we've had this one, let's put a big fat tick next to that, because we've had that absolutely optimally touched. Again, very, very simple stuff, guys, and not what they will teach you. Okay, guys, so let's move on. So what can we see with regards to the Tilray? Now, Tilray, guys, I do not actually realise that it is looking pretty bullish, to be honest. Looking crazy bullish, actually. If we are going to break out this trend line, which we have done, come back down and test, I do expect us to come back up to the $9 region, to be honest, guys. If I remember putting in a little mark just up here. Let's mark this out, because what we can see, guys, again, playing the break, we are coming back down, we are retesting, we may drop a tiny bit lower before we go higher, but I think we are going to come back up and actually test this top level of resistance just here. Now, why do I think that? Because usually when we break a downtrend, we come back down and we test before we go back to the upside. That is simply where I've got that from. Okay, guys, sorry it is going on a bit longer. DJI, now that, guys, what can we see? Again, you are got to manage your risk. We are getting closer to that stop loss. Now, there's a reason why I have that stop loss placed just against here. It may wick me out, right? But it does not matter, because we've only got 2% at risk and we have a 12% upside. I will just simply wait until we actually decide to come back down and test this for a fourth time and ultimately break to the downside, which is firmly where my views sit with regards to the market, guys. So, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. It has been a very, very quick fire one, just a quick update on the platform, guys. Now, I will be looking at asking the early adopters, the guys who are going to be in from the start, guys. You do not understand where we are going with this platform. It is absolutely crazy. I know I talk about it all the time on these breakdowns, but we have been building up to this for the past 3 to 4 months, guys. You guys are the early adopters. You guys are the guys who are going to give me the feedback and going to the people who actually win with me, right? Because the more you guys succeed, the better this platform will be and the more longevity it will have. I want this to change the educational system for cryptocurrency. We are such an early stage. When we are 2 years ahead and you guys are experts, you guys can play the markets, you guys can understand where to hold your cryptos, where you've made loads of money with regards to actually going ahead and investing in various coins, understanding how to do it safely, and we will have a lift off when the rest of the world catches up with us, guys. So without further ado, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I appreciate you all, and I will catch you in the next one.